Hello, welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and today it's June 19th, 2021. And today's version of Ghana Agenda is going to be very interesting. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. I know my guests are already in studio, and I'm happy to bring them on for a great conversation. We are talking about three different things today. We are talking about the fact that the government is able to acquire Toyota vehicles for the police, while our own Kantanka, which is a Ghanaian manufacturing company or Ghanaian company that manufactures car, is struggling in the market. Also, we would be talking about the insecurity situation in the country, where, of course, uh, recently we've seen a lot of robberies. Police personnel were being killed. We also know that countries to our north, like Burkina Faso, have witnessed some terrorist attacks, some spillovers from Mali, which is a topic we've been discussing recently. And we know that ECOWAS had just wrapped up a summit in Accra, and some of these issues actually came to the front burner, and we'll be kind of touching briefly on that as well. And then the last thing we'll talk about is that Ghana is intending or has a plan to issue a $1 billion bond for support of SHS, or to take care of the debts that has so far been incurred in our free SHS program. So those are the three topics we'll be talking about. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. My guests are in studio. I'm going to go look into the green room to ensure that everything is set and that we are ready to go. If you haven't already done so, again, let your friends know Alfred Muzu and the Ghana Agenda crew are on, and we have some very interesting topics and issues that we would be discussing today. Taking a quick break. I'll be back, introduce my guests, and we'll get into the show. Thanks for watching. Please share the link.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back. And if you haven't already done so, please tell a friend to tell a friend. The Ghana Agenda is on. I'm already getting comments, and one of my best friends is actually watching already. And I want to just put it out there, Mr. Pascal, you won the award for the first comment today. Thanks so much for joining the show. Yeah, so I'm still waiting for a few of, at least my guest was in the studio, but he dropped off some technical issues, I believe, with him. But like I've said earlier, we are talking about three different things today. So we are first going to be, touching on something that we discussed a couple of weeks ago, which is the jet that was rented by the president on his visit to France, where he went and sat with President Macron, who actually assembled a couple of African presidents to offer them what he referred to as a New Deal, which comprises of a request to the International Monetary Fund to release 630 billion more in special depository rights. Yeah, so that jets that he rented, ACJ, is it 320 new or so, became a problem. And of course, that it became a problem because Honorable Ablakwa, the member of parliament for Santonu, raised the issue, actually asked a parliamentary question or presented a question to be asked of the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Finance. Of course, we know the Minister of Finance the Minister of Defense showed up and gave his response. We'll be talking briefly about that. And also the Minister of Finance, who should perhaps be in Parliament and respond to the cost of that trip, did not make it. And I think he asked for additional time for him to prepare. So we would be, touching briefly on that. We'll spend about 15 minutes to talk about that. And then we will get into the issue of the insecurity situations we are witnessing currently, where there are so many robbers on our streets, robbing people in broad daylight, and also the issue of we having a car manufacturing company in our own country, and I'm talking here about Kantanka, but at the same time we turn around and purchase Toyota to equip our police in delivery of their duties. We thought, the current president, in his campaign for the presidency, had promised that when he becomes president, that we will source majority of such, equipments, vehicles from our domestic markets. So that will be something we will discuss into detail once I get my amigos joining the show. Also, I have so basically, let me bring in Paul DeSosa, who just joined the studio. Paul, thanks for joining. Paul, introduce yourself quickly, and then we would continue to have the conversation. I'm also waiting for John Ado, who's new to the show, to also join us. So if you don't mind, please introduce yourself, and then I would get back to see whether Ado is in our green room.
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling too good, but I have to join for the love I have for the show, and because I've committed myself. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm saying that unfortunately I'm not feeling too good, but I need to be here this afternoon to, lay the bare facts of the issues going on in our country. I'm doing this thing for the sake of love for country and for party. That is why I'm doing this thing. So I'm grateful that I'm here this afternoon with you to present the issues, the bare fact as it is. So as you know, I'm Paul DeSosa, the member of the NDC communication team in the USA, and also the secretary of NDC Massachusetts down here in the US. We are here to speak truth to power. We are here to, make sure that, truth is spoken to people in power. We don't want to, come here and misinform or throw dust into the eyes of the listeners. Let's speak truth, and that's all we are here for. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Paul. I don't know if everything I've said so far actually came out, because I just found out my microphone was off. But thanks for that introduction, Paul. And John, I don't know if you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me, John?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. All right, John, thanks for joining the show today. I know this is new to you. You are new to the show. So, John, you have worked with the Ministry of Trade and Industry of Ghana for a while. You are also part of the MPP communication team. I know I may have left some things out, but if I did, please take your time, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, And we are glad to have you on the show. And then once you finish introducing yourself, we will jump right into the topics we table for conversation today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alfred. As you rightly indicated, I'm John. John Batalo is the name, and yes, I did some work with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. I worked with
Right.
them for about 9 years, and then the rest is history. So now I'm in the United States. Currently, I'm the deputy youth organizer of
Okay.
uh, yes, with Columbus, Ohio, MPP Columbus, Ohio. So, in brief, that is how I want to introduce myself, and then as we move on, I mean, we get to know what it is. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that introduction, John. I don't know if you heard me in my introductions, but basically, we would be talking about three things today. The first one being, the insecurity situations we've been witnessing in our country. What do I mean by that? Uh, of course, you are aware that there's been a lot of robberies going on, etc., etc. So we'll touch on that, and then also we will look at the fact that you know, and I believe the current president, when he was running for um, government, told us that he would be sourcing a lot of things internally. In other words, vehicles, equipments for police, and etc., etc., internally. And we know we have this organization that is manufacturing car in Ghana, Katanka in this case. But at the same time, we are witnessing where the government has acquired a lot of Toyota cars for our police recently, and we thought, why are we not, buying from Kataka as we were promised? So that's topic number two that we wanted to look at, and then also we planned that we're going to raise some $1 billion in social bonds. Social bonds to mean that we are going to use it directly to pay for some social interventions that we have going on. The current one that we are targeting to pay for with this $1 billion is the free SHS program. But before we start, I know 2 weeks ago we discussed the fact that the president went to France and to Belgium, secure a loan of 170 million euros towards forming a development bank, and then he jetted to South Africa from there. On that travel, he rented a flight or a charter flight from Atropolis, a company called Atropolis or so, and we were on the hook for 15,000 cedis an hour. I don't know if that's a cedis or dollars, but I'm sure Paul Disosu has those figures back. So, Honorable Sam Ablakwa Okujeto had raised this as an issue in Parliament and had called on the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Defense to provide answers for whether the Falcon, which is the presidential jet, was available, and what the cost of the charter was to the Ghanaian to Ghana. We know the Minister of Defense came and proffered, some answers, but Minister of Finance had asked for extension. He wanted to go prepare because my understanding is he wasn't informed on time. He just got a notification on June 14th, even though he went out somewhere in, I think, beginning of June or so. So we want to kind of give some finality to that discussion. And I'm going to start with you, Paul. Paul, so you've heard what the Minister of Defense offered as answers to why the president has to go by a charter flight. According to him, sometimes the presidency travels with assistance or security, and that's in this particular case, the Falcon couldn't take more than 11 people, and therefore he needed a flight or a plane that is bigger that can convey the entire entourage to Europe. What is your take on that? And then he also says that, of course, the president couldn't take a shower in the Falcon and go straight to a meeting from the plane without stopping at a hotel. So, what is your take on the answers we got from the Minister of Defense?
Thank you very much, Mr. Amuzu. It's unfortunate that a country that is a third world country that we are underdeveloped or we are developing, going through a lot of struggling, for a president of the country to come and plead with the citizens to tighten their belt, but the president is not ready to tighten his belt. Right. This shows how insensitive, how wicked, how shameful, how unacceptable, and how uncivil this our president is. Why am I saying so? Mr. Muzu, all the explanation that the defense minister, Dominic Mitu, gave are childish and fantasy explanation. Those explanations, when told to my 1-year-old boy, will not even believe them. What are the facts? Let's take the facts. He spoke about security of the president. If you are talking about security of a president, which team is the best team, or per the issues that are the fact that we know? The private jet that they went and rented, which was costing £15,000 an hour, was being driven by people who are not Ghanaians, who are not loyal, who have not pledged allegiance to the president, as against the Falcon, which will be driven.
Paul, I think we lost your sound also. So if you don't mind, can you see if you did not mute yourself?
I'm not mute. Can you hear me?
Okay. Paul, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I think we lost your sound.
Oh, wow. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Paul, say something. Let me see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
No, I cannot. How about John? John, can you try to speak to see if I can hear you?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Muzu. Yeah, Muzu. Can you hear me?
No, something is amiss here. All right, let's take a quick break and then we can come back and then see if the sounds are right. I'm going to. All right, hold on. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to continue the program.
Hey, this your girl coming all the way from the US of A, yeah baby, aka Ya Bantam. And me di feel a bows in pan and to see one roach with your money how Ghana mat other romantic. What's me sending provisions as I sutra credit Emma Ebusia phone and the form one Ghana. And one is a www.ghanamat.com. And they would say, boy, a sharp connection. www.ghanamat.com. Let's provisions in the credit. Na really I have her numbers na screen as Ghana Mat crano.
All right, Paul, let's go again. I think I can hear you now. So yeah, you were saying something about
I was talking about this president is the most wicked, insensitive, shameful, uncivil president ever in the history of the Fourth Republic. Why am I saying so? We all remembered on the 7th January 2017 when this insensitive president took power. What did this president told all of us as Ghanaians? He stated in that speech, which he plagiarized, that he was going to be a president who is going to save the public purse. Mr. Muzu, is this the way to save the public purse? At the era of COVID, where there's COVID and your economy is running to 0.9 GDP, is it the right choice or the right thing for you to do? To go and buy or rent aircraft, one of the most expensive aircraft for £15,000 sterling an hour?
Right.
Look, what are the explanations that the defense minister gave? The reason why they did this. The question that was put to him was the Falcon, the presidential jet, airworthy? And he has answered in the affirmative. Yes, the Falcon is airworthy. It is good. It's in good shape. There's nothing wrong with it. Also, let me add over here, Mr. Muzu. It is on record, or it's a fact, that the Falcon also traveled to France. Went to France with some of the presidential team. This was disclosed 2 days ago on Good Morning Ghana by the president's spokesperson, Koku Bako. The Falcon, I am saying the Falcon also was taken to France on the same trip, which means the Falcon, apart from the Falcon going to France with other dignitaries, the president chose to hire a luxurious jet so that he can take shower in the air. That is what is his choice. That is his priority. Look, Mr. Muzu, they were talking about security, and the question we put over here: the Falcon is being driven, or is being driven by allegiance of national security people who have seek allegiance to you, as compared to the airplane that they rented. Those people who drove that airplane are from Britain. They are British boss. They have no allegiance to you. So where comes the security? That's number one. Number two, they try to create impression that the Falcon cannot travel for a long distance. Let's bank that assertion. The Falcon can travel 9.5 hours non-stop. So for them to come and say the Falcon is not be able to travel for a long distance, that is not true. We are in the world of information. When you go and you click and you type in the Falcon, the make number, it tells you all the capability of that airplane. Number three.
So my understanding is the Falcon really is capable of serving the country for 20 years, and it was actually acquired in 2010.
That's what I was coming to. Number three. This airplane was acquired in 2008, but it was given to us, or it was presented to the country in 2010. This airplane is barely 10 years old. According to the manufacturer's documentation, this Falcon is good for a purpose for the next 20 years. So for them to be making all these excuses is mind-boggling. Number three, the minister was talking about the presidential entourage and capacity. Look, Mr. Amuzu, the Falcon have a capacity, including the crews, of 15 people, including the pilots, the associate pilot, and air hostess who serve on the plane. The plane that they went to rent it for £15,000 an hour take only 19 people, including so the only difference is 4. Number three, the impression that was created as if the Falcon was not fit for purpose and that there is no shower in it for the president to take shower whilst he was airborne.
Are you gonna say there's a shower in the Falcon as well? Because
there is a befitting bathroom in the Falcon.
Really?
There's a befitting bathroom in the Falcon. So for this insensitive president to come and be telling us that, or for his spokesperson to come and tell us that the Falcon is not fit to take the president because the president cannot shower in it, is the most disgraceful, the most shameful, the most unacceptable explanation to be given to the good people of Ghana.
So Paul, why do you think he did it though? Why do you think the president decided to, go with the Falcon, go with the chartered flight instead of the Falcon?
Because he has the taste for luxury. He has no pain. He's not feeling the pain the common Ghanaian are going through. He's a president who is just there and he's being remote control. That is why, as a president, you allow £15,000 sterling an hour to be a plane to be rented for £15,000 sterling an hour. And don't forget, Mr. Muzu, the plane was rented for 10 solid days. Honorable Oklujetu Abrakwe's explanation, he just did an estimation calculation on the airspace, the number of hours that the plane was in the air. And let's put it on record, from Ghana to France is 6.5 hours. From Ghana to South Africa is about 5.5 hours.
Right.
So what stopped the president? Another reason why they are giving, the reason why they rented the extravaganda airplane was that the president from France to South Africa was 11 hours. Mr.
Right.
Muzu, if you are a president who is sensitive to the plight of your people, what stops you, okay, from flying back from France to Accra, do a stop for an hour, let the plane be refueled, and then you get back into the air, back to South Africa.
Right.
Let us put on record, and before my friend will talk, he should not come and spew lies over here. The Falcon was also in France. At the same time, the super incompetent and insensitive president rented a plane for £15,000 an hour. The tax rate.
So that is the new information you are passing on. In other words, you're saying that not only did the president rented, a new plane to travel to Europe, but at the same time that he was in Europe,
actually that he rented a plane for £15,000 an hour at that place to it. This is a super incompetent, insensitive, and a shameful president. Because the Falcon was at the same time also in Europe with some of his entourage. So the Falcon could travel to France at the same time he went and rented this extravagant, expensive plane. What stops him from taking the Falcon and his team will rather go on a commercial plane?
Okay, great.
So let's at least take the nation at heart. This 2.8 million Ghana cedi, old currency 2.8 billion. That has been spent. That money can build hospital. That money can buy beds into our hospital. That money can build the schools for our little brothers and sisters back home who are suffering. This president is a president who is known to just become a president, just have the title. The interest of Ghana is not at stake to him. He doesn't seek the interest of the common people. He will be there, and he has imposed 5 different taxes in this COVID era. Whilst other countries are giving incentives to their people. So I am saying this afternoon that this is the most shameful, the most insensitive, the most uncivil, the most, disgraceful president ever in the history of Ghana.
All right, there go Paul. So you've heard Paul. Paul has indicated, how insensitive the president is. He's just a president in name. He doesn't have the plight of the people at heart. But I am very sure our other guest, John Bat Ado, is going to disagree. So, John, you've heard Paul. Paul is, associating all kinds of adjectives to the president. What do you say to the fact that, though we have a dedicated presidential jet sitting in Accra, but Paul is also saying that plane was in Europe at the same time. But though we have a dedicated presidential jet, that our president went ahead and spent a lot of money that could have gone into building schools, buying bed for hospitals, to charter a flight, just to attend a conference, which perhaps some would say didn't yield anything to Ghana.
Amuzu, thank you very much for this opportunity. In the first place, I want to thank our listeners and our viewers for having me. I want us to do proper analysis of issues, not just be sensational, because as I can see, Paul D'Souza is being sensational. Okay, Paul, you need to calm down. Let us address issues analytically. Okay, let us take them step by step. That is how we build a nation. Okay, it's not just about throwing dust in the air, or it's not just about putting words together. No, that is basically not it. Okay, and governance is not just about, okay, I put pen and paper here and that is it. No, there are processes involved in governance. Okay, there are processes. So then the first question I would want to ask, the first question is that before this issue even came out and became whatever, the first question is that when Honorable Okujeto went to Parliament, okay, what was the question that was asked to the Minister of defense. What was the question?
Right.
I'm putting this question to Paul Disoso. If he could answer me, was it about cost? Was it about cost? If it was about cost, you can tell us. Okay. He only asked.
I think the question was whether the Falcon was available and the state of the Falcon, and that was to the Minister of Defense. But there was a second question about cost that went to the Minister of Finance. And the Minister of Finance didn't show up to answer those questions.
He ran away.
He wanted more time. Even though the understanding is he was in Parliament for this. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So now the point is, okay, the Honorable Okujeto asked whether the Falcon was airworthy. Okay,
right.
And so the answer was yes, it could fly. But then again, you should ask yourself this question: how many were the entourage that the government was traveling with? Was it not this same Okujeto who was asking whether the Falcon was able to fly or not? So if he knew the Falcon was, then was he even asking again? I'm asking this to Paul. If he knew that the Falcon was in France, why then did he even take the pain to ask the minister again? Are we joking or we are kidding? So now the question is, you do the analysis as whether if we flew the Falcon, okay, to on the president and then entourage flew the Falcon and then stayed maybe 2-3 days, and then the other entourage also took another plane or whatever. They stayed in there for 2-3 days before even the conference or whatever. What was the cost element to it? Okay, how much was the country going to bear? What was the cost? So you should do this analysis, come back to us, tell us that, if the government had gone maybe 2-3 days earlier, okay, the hotel, whatever was going to cost us this much, okay, and then it would have been far better if even the government had gone even a week ahead of time, okay, so that we could save the country some amount of money. But you don't come here and say the government is irrational, is this, is that. No, we don't do politics like this. Okay, we need to educate our people. We need to educate them. We need to tell them the truth. Okay, that is how we build a nation. So I'll pause here and then yes.
Okay, let me take I know you want to rebut to that, but Paul, the understanding is this is not the main topic for the day. So quick one in a minute, and then we can. Yes, please.
How disgraceful my friend John could not even address the issue. He was coming here to tell us that I, Paul Delali Disoso,
right,
who is celebrating my birthday today, and very happy guy.
Oh, happy birthday!
I am sensational. I am throwing that into the eyes of the people.
Right.
And then I don't understand.
No, I don't want you to address this sensationalism and all that. Address the main issue. The main issue.
Right.
You were the one throwing jobs at the president of Ghana, right? Address the main issue. The main issue.
Guys, let me take a quick read of some of the comments we have.
Submission, please.
Okay.
I understand.
Quick,
I am
1
not
minute.
address my sensational. I am not sensational. I'm not throwing dust into the eyes of the people. I am speaking the truth. It is you who is throwing dust, who couldn't answer the question.
So can you tell us, Paul? Can you tell us how much it would have costed the president if you had gone even 2-3 days ahead of time? Can you tell us? Do you have that fact?
All right, so we got a message from Mr. Pascal Kojo Lumo. Pascal is a mate of mine. We went to secondary school together, and I'm talking about the Great St. Paul Secondary School from Indenu. Pascal is saying hi, Kofi. That's my middle name. Say hi, Kofi. How are you doing today? I'm doing wonderful, sir. Thanks for joining the show. Please share the link. Let others who would be interested watch us on your platform. Also, my boss, Steve Day, is back from Ghana. Steve, thanks for joining the show, and thanks for. I'm sure you got me some gifts, so I'll be calling you later to find out what that is. But Steve is saying, looking great, sir, Alfred. Paul, Paul is that as usual, stating the fact always, more fire. So Paul, Steve is giving you fans there. Let me guess 2 more, and then we can just come to you, Mr. Paul.
John could not even address the fact of the issue, the things that his own defense minister came to say to the public. Right. I am saying over here that, and I was here this afternoon to analyze all the reasons why the defense minister came to give to the good people of Ghana and try to convince them the reason why they rented that expensive jet.
Right.
But John, in addressing the issue, could not even speak to one of it. You see how NPP people are?
All right, we got that. Okay, guys, let's continue the program. We don't want to spend the whole time fighting back on who's shameful, who's not shameful. Let's continue the program and discuss the topics. So Edward is saying great show. Edward is also one of the directors, the director of Akko Radio, and we are very appreciative for him joining the show. He also hosts
30 seconds to wrap up. For John to be telling us that the Falcon was also in Europe at the same time, and the presidential members on that plane. This even true. If I were to be him, I'll not even mention that fact over here on this show.
Right.
Because if the Falcon was able to fly,
what are you talking about? You told.
Let's do one at a time.
And I was just telling you that if it was in France, why then would Honorable Okujeto be asking whether the Falcon could fly? That was the question I was asking you. Because if you knew that the plane was in France, could it have gone to France? Or could you still have asked whether it could fly or not? The Falcon, yes, I'm asking. If you knew it was in France, why then ask again?
John,
we also have a message from Nemo. He's saying Nemo is one of our hosts again. He hosts a sports program, and he's saying, maybe because of course we are flying two planes. One probably turned into a submarine. Royal Black Jesus joined us. Royal Black Jesus is saying best political show in the diaspora, and we are grateful, Black, for hooking us up in so many different ways. Thank you so much, Black. Yes.
The simple question over here is that the president and his team and the defense minister are insensitive.
Okay.
Why? Number one, the Falcon can fly 9.5 hours non-stop. That's a fact. Number two.
Well, the understanding I have is it can actually fly up to, is it 9.5 hours? I'm not sure. But
9.5 hours. Check, go to the Falcon, go to the website and check the capability of the plane. The Falcon can fly 9.5 hours non-stop. Number two, the fact that they are talking about capacity. Let's put on this show this afternoon that the Falcon can take a maximum of 15 people, and that expensive plane that they rented can take only 19 people. So there's only four number difference gap. Number three, let's also state on the fact that for them to be saying that the president cannot shower on air, that is the president's prerogative. That's the president's interest. The president want to be in air and be showering and be sleeping. That the president sleep every 6 hours. These NPP communicators, they should shut up and stop talking about this issue. Because it is disgraceful, it is shameful.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll actually jump into the topics we table for conversation or discussion today, which are the issue of the $1 billion bond for the free SHS, the insecurity issues, and the issue of acquiring vehicles from foreign manufacturers when we have Kantaka struggling to find its feet in the market. Mr. Seth Mifetu, the Volta Wardroom, which is another show we have on Trend Africa, says, big up Kinamuzu. Thanks for watching us. We'll be right back. Please share the link if you haven't already done so. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The Ghana agenda is on, and it's getting very interesting.
Hey, this your girl coming all the way from the US of A, yeah, baby, aka Ya Bantam. And me di fill up bows in pan and to see one roach with your money how Ghana mat other romantic. What's me sending provisions? As I sutra credit, Emma Ebusia Phone and the form one Ghana. And one is a www.ghanamat.com. And they would say, boy, a sharp connection. www.ghanamat.com. Let's provisions in the credit. Na really I have friend numbers na screen Ghana Mat ye crano.
All right, welcome back to the Ghana agenda. So today we are going to do something different. In other words, we plan to open the phone lines to towards the end of the show. So if you are watching and you want to contribute, please keep all your questions and your contributions. And towards the end, we'll open the phone line so that we can hear your voice and take your questions or comments for my guests to answer. So welcome back. Now, let's get into the first topic we've tabled for discussion today, which is the spate of robberies and insecurities and indiscipline that we are witnessing lately. There's been so many robberies lately, the latest of which happened, I think, a week ago in broad daylight, where the bullion van conveying cash from the bank to another bank or so was actually attacked by armed robbers, and the police officer shot. Driver shot as well. Apparently, the driver survived, and a lady who's also a bike stander watching was also shot in the process, but she also survived. Now, we lost the police officer, and this is something that has been happening. I think there's about 6 or 7 of those already this year alone. Paul, what is happening to our country? And I don't know, I think I lost your picture, Paul. So if you are listening to me, I want you, okay, so Paul, what is happening to our country? A question was posed to the IGP, and he says that, crime is everywhere. The only place there's no crime really is heaven. And to which I heard other people ask whether, there's an IGP in heaven, and whether he's already been there and knows that there's no crime there. So what is happening to our country? Why is it that we are beginning to see a lot of indiscipline to the extent that even our police forces are unable to actually bring this bad behaviors under control?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Muzu. And
yeah,
unfortunately, as I said, I'm not in my best today. I'm not feeling well, but I have to be here this afternoon to do this show. Look,
absolutely, we are grateful for that.
When you told lies is like a pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
When you told the lies, whether I like it or there's a time that there's a time that you have to give birth to the lies that you told.
Right.
In 2016,
mm-hmm.
towards the 2016 election, what didn't we hear from this super incompetent government and his team?
Right.
In their manifesto that they used for the 2016 election,
mm-hmm.
in page 170, my good friend John, he knows it. They spoke about security. What didn't they say about security in Ghana? You see, when you throw a ball to hit a wall, it will come back to you. They lied and created impression as if the security situation in Ghana is the most worst and the most, dangerous one ever. That is happening to our good country, Ghana. Whilst that was not the case. These are some of the lies they told Ghanaians, and Ghanaians voted for them, and they came into power. Let it also be on record that this is the first government under the Fourth Republic that have 6 security couples. We have the National Security Advisor, National Security Minister, National Security Board. They have 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
How come that the security in Ghana has deteriorated to this level?
Right.
Mr. Muzu,
mm-hmm.
I started talking about insecurity in Ghana about 2-3 years ago.
Right.
Fortunately for some of us, we travel back home almost every year to go for party activities, to go for
mm-hmm.
party congress, to go for
right.
personal issues, and then do our personal business.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I am not here to create the impression as if when the NDC was in power, there was no issues with security.
Right.
We have some security challenges. It's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And by then, we were working very hard to address the issue. But this insensitive president played politics with that situation. And now, the politics he played has turned back, eating him up, hitting him up.
Right.
I am saying on record that in the Fourth Republic, this is the only government that has appointed 6 national security couples. So how
mm-hmm.
come our national security is deteriorating at this level?
Right.
What are the facts? I'm not going to sit here and and put all the blame on this government. But because of the lies, because of the propaganda, because of the mischiefs they played on the mind of the good people of Ghana, they will they will face the consequences of it this afternoon.
Right.
You remember 2 years ago, there was a police officer shot at what's the name? When you're going to Achimata, that place, I've forgotten the name. At themselves. Sorry? Is it Kwabenya or Domain?
John.
Domain. It's Domain.
Okay.
And when the lying vice president, the most lying ever vice president in the history of Ghana and the history of the world, attended that funeral, the post is there. He promised the good people of Ghana that they are going to acquire body arms, body cameras. Security. Muftis. What's the name? Security. Protective vests for those who go in front of those security officers who face danger. 2 years down the lane, 3 years down the lane. Where are those? Security accoutrement he promised they were going to purchase for the police.
Right.
You see, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. And this super incompetent, insensitive government is full of talking, giving promises that they cannot fulfill. Now, let's come to the situation. I want to take this opportunity and use this platform to extend our sympathy and condolences to the bereaved family of the slain police officer. It's unfortunate it has happened. Now, I'm not going to do politics. I'm going to address the issues. Look, Mr. Muzu, it is sad. Our brothers and sisters who are in the security, we need to protect them.
Right.
That is why it is not right for the president, for insensitive president, to be spending 15,000 an hour on an airplane, while that money can be used to purchase body cameras. How do you call it?
Body armors, bulletproofs,
bulletproof. Vests and all those for the security. That is why we are all upset about this situation. Now, one of the big challenge I have, and I've stated it, irrespective of which party, is that I think our security agencies have been politicized.
Right.
That is why we have this super incompetent IGP sitting down there for him to be bold to tell the good people of Ghana that it's only heaven that there's no crime.
Right.
That is shameful.
Yeah, that came off as a bit arrogant.
That is shameful, disrespectful, arrogancy to the highest level. And the reason why the president cannot fire him or is not be able to fire him as we speak is that because he's doing the bidding of the president.
Right.
He's playing the game of the president. That's why the president has no the balls to fire him. As the head of the police services, we don't expect you to come and tell us that crime is everywhere except in heaven. You can come to tell us that you are doing an effort, you and your team are making an effort to fight it. You need our support. For you to respond to us and tell us that is disrespectful to the good people of Ghana. And I'm saying this afternoon, if the president thinks he's not using that super incompetent and insensitive IGP for his dirty work, then the president should fire him ASAP.
Right.
No matter the police officers we have in Ghana, even though apart from them don't having the security accoutrement, the equipment to protect themselves. Look, this van is not a buoyant van. It's not a van that you can use to carry money.
Right.
This is a pickup.
Well, apparently the Bank of Ghana had, a meeting with, the MDs of the banks, and it was agreed that they should all change their vans. And this was something that was scheduled to happen by the end of this month. So it's just unfortunate that
Mr. Muzu, it was scheduled to happen by the end of 2023.
Oh, interesting.
Because of what happened, that's why he has brought it at the end of this month and saying that he's going to withdraw all his men if they don't purchase the Boland van to carry money. But Mr. Muzu, I am saying that even that threat is the most bogus threat ever.
Yeah, again, it's unfortunate that you say something.
Even though as now we don't have those Boland vans to carry the money, money or they are being attacked, how much more when you withdraw the security men? Then Ghana is going to be a banana republic if the IGP cares to know. Number 3, I am saying over here, I've stopped doing politics now. I'm being realistic over here. Number 3, look, giving our police officers pistol is the way to go. Let's analyze this issue. The police officers that was sitting in that van was holding AK-47. Don't forget he was sitting at the passenger seat at the front. The AK-47, don't forget, it's a long rifle.
So it's inconvenient removing it.
Bring it out and you can shoot.
Yeah. So are you saying that they don't have, because usually I know police officers carry a pistol on their waist at the same time the AK-47.
The police officers who protect the ministers and the deputy
that have the pistol on their waist.
They are the only people who have the pistol on their waist. Those people who are sent for duty such as that, they go with AK-47.
I'm giving an AK-47. Okay.
We should learn a lesson from this.
All right, Paul. Wrap up. Let's bring in John as well so that he can.
Mr. Amusu, 2 things. Moving forward, I think we should look at that and let's all come together, both NDC and NPP. Let's support to equip the security agencies because they are also human beings. They deserve the right equipment. They need the right equipment to work with. Number 3, Mr. Amusu, this is a very important issue. Number 3.
Okay, number 3 is your last point on this,
Number 3. The blame will go to the door post of this insensitive and super incompetent president. Because they have infiltrated the police and the security service with their boys, their party boys. And why am I saying so? Look, I'm not saying this gentleman is an MPP guy. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that there's a lot of indiscipline in the system in such a way that we are losing confidence in our security agencies. Look at the things that is going on. Look at the way they are attacking people left and right. Apart from the armed robbers attacking them, we also have the citizens have issues with the security service and the security agencies. The national security, not the BN, how do you call them? Security, how do you call them? Those people who went and attacked the journalist.
The national security. The national security.
He's done with the relevant issues he wants to talk about. So,
the national security people. Look at they are being indisciplined, attacking citizens left and right. So I am saying is the cause of the president. The president was the one who has brought all this thing to Ghana. You remember when he was in opposition, instead of him seeking security people to protect him, he went and brought missionaries from South Africa to train these hoodlums. That is why today our national security is full of hoodlums who doesn't even know how to handle guns, who doesn't know how to be professional. So national security in general. I am saying this afternoon that we should reform our national security and our security system in the country because Ghana is no more safe for us to live in. Thank you.
All right. Okay, great. Great for that contribution. I would bring John in to respond. But John, before you come in, let me quickly read 2 or 3 messages that we've gotten so far. Seth Mifetu, the host of the Volta War Room. I don't know if I'm getting the name of the program right, but if I'm not, please let me know. So Seth is saying that it is sad and lack of direction as a country if government cannot pay ECG to provide stable power supply, yet for the president to travel in expensive plane. Are we not sick as a country? Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. All right, so it's been poetic in there. Thank you so much for that comment, Mr. Seth. Yes, it's definitely sick that we would be paying that much money renting private jets when we can pay ECG. Akwesi Binimo, again, one of our hosts on Akko Radio, and I'm glad that he's part of the show today. Thank you for joining, Akwesi. Please share the link. Akwesi saying, boss, I believe these killings come from within. So I'm sure he's saying that maybe the attack on the police officer, the bullying, and whatever it is something that was done, within the police network themselves, because perhaps they know the routes that would be taken, they know what's going on, they time it and did it themselves. I'm not sure if that's what it's referring to, but he can clarify. But thanks for that comment, Sakwesi. I'll see if John maybe has some idea some answers for you. Mr. Yafa, who's one of our regular panelists, he's not here today. John is stepping in his place, but he's joining the show from wherever he is. He's saying, wow, listen, that's the submissions from Paul.
If I ran away from you today because he knows he can answer the question.
And then he came back and said, Paul, he believes you are lying. So,
Ahmed, why didn't he come on the show?
In fact, I'm going to open the phone line so you can join. You can join and really ask, your direct questions to Paul yourself if you want to.
Mr. Muzu, I'm telling you, if I ran away from me, because
I know, right?
In a position to speak on the extravaganza plane rented for £15,000 an hour. He's not in a position to speak about it. He gave you a formidable, opponent today. So I'm sure. John, I don't want to be hard on John. So I'm being gentle today. I'm being gentle today, John. I'm being gentle on you today.
All right, let's bring in John. John, what do you say to all the good things we heard from Paul so far? If I say Paul is lying.
Paul, jammed almost everything up. Talking about national interest and then talking about political interest and all that, and then calling the president's names. I think it's rather unfortunate. But first of all, I want to extend my condolences to the bereaved families of the officer who was shot in the head. So Amuzu, let me go to the point. Do you remember at a point in time, Paul was saying that the police officer had AK-47? Did you hear that?
Right.
You heard that, and at the same time, this Paul
is that inaccurate?
No, I'm building up a point. At the same time, Paul was saying that the military men do not have anything at all. So you see the contradictions. I mean, he had AK-47. Now they are not being provided with anything. So who says this to anybody?
No, I think he's saying that if I heard him correctly, he was saying that they needed a pistol instead of AK-47 because in a situation like that,
But he had indicated earlier. He had indicated earlier that he had AK-47 and it's a long rifle or whatever. And before he pulls it or whatever, I mean, somebody could have shot him, right?
Right.
So yes, we all understand that. I mean, security issues are of interest to everybody in the country. It is not just MPP or NDC, right?
Right.
Who knows who the police officer might have voted for, even in 2020?
Why does that matter?
No, I'm asking this because he is politicizing it. Okay, so if the police officer was to be an NDC, would you also say that the armed robber was an MPP? Or the one who shot the police officer was an MPP?
I don't necessarily think we are saying
crime does not have any coloration. Okay, so as a people, we should devise ways and means to keep it. That is the argument. That is what we should be looking at. Okay, yes. When you now ask yourself these questions, okay, what are the things that this MPP government have done for the security services in our country ever since they came to power? You ask yourself this, then we build on it. Okay, this is a government by far that has met the needs of both the military. I mean, talk about all the security agencies in the country. Okay, they were all under-resourced. Okay, it is this MPP government, an Ronaldo-led government, that has provided them with vehicles, with armory, everything. Okay, but I mean, you can't provide. I mean, I used everything because yes, they are doing their best for them. Okay, but you cannot sit here on radio and say that, I mean, nothing at all has been done for them, for which reason we have armed robbery in the country. Then I'll ask myself, or I'll ask him this question: that is America insecure? Is there insecurity in America? Would you ask if I ask you this question and you are able to provide me answers, then we can move on.
Okay, but we are saying that there has been an increase in the robberies. For instance, in January, there was robbery at the entrance of Ulungu SHS. There was another one at Anglo Afenigba. I'm just going through. a list
Yes,
of
but I want to ask
yeah.
this. I want to ask this. You know, when you are doing this, then you are doing some comparisons. Okay, so you want to look
No,
at,
no, no,
okay,
not
they've been
necessarily. We are
increased
just
from,
saying that there has been
okay,
an increasing
from where to where,
pace.
from where to where, from what rate to
Well,
what
well,
rate.
I'm giving you some numbers from just this year, right? And
Mm-hmm,
you know, so basically we saw some in Afera Enigma. There was armed robbery where you know a police officer was shot, and
mm-hmm.
a bullion van was robbed at Adansi.
Okay,
This is just January. There was a
okay.
robbery at Nyanko Mansa near
Mm-hmm,
Obuasi. There was armed robbery at Oyibi.
mm-hmm.
That was in just January alone. Then in February, there was Prankese, Techima Road. There was a robbery at Asokore, Mampong. Then in March, there was another bullion van that was robbed at Bachuana, Spinters Road. In April, there was armed robbery. A couple, you know, were killed upon returning from a bank in Sakandi. Two persons were robbed and shot at a filling station at Ojobi in Gomoa East in May. These are just a few of the ones we actually know of,
Yes.
right? In May,
So,
there was a
so back
robbery at
to my
Atebubu.
submission.
So
Back to my
on and on and
submission.
on and on and on. Yes.
Back to my submission. Yes, you have
Mm-hmm.
enumerated quite a few of them, or whatever.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
but at what rate is it? I'm not saying robbery is a good thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
if we can educate our listeners and say that, oh, armed robbery this year have been on the rise, looking at what happened last year. Okay, then we
Right.
are making some I mean inroads. Okay, but armed robbery definitely is going to happen,
Right.
irrespective of whatever. Okay, but at what rate? Okay, the fact that there have been sports of armed robbery at places doesn't mean they've been increased. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if last year
Mm-hmm.
the whole of last year there were 20, I mean, armed robberies. Okay, and this year now we've had, let's say, 5. Can we say that they've been, I mean, an increase in armed robbery? Certainly no.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But the point is
Mm-hmm.
that armed robbers will continue to be everywhere. Even in
Right.
America, there will be armed robbers here, right?
Right.
But what is done to curb it? Okay, or the processes that we take to combat them is what
Mm-hmm.
matters. Okay, not
Right.
the fact that armed robbers do not exist. They
Okay.
do. That is the more reason why the name even exists. Okay,
Right.
so let us look at it. Let us
So
resource
what are the
our
processes? What are the processes being undertaken to curb it since you've introduced that?
of
You said
course,
it's not that, yeah.
as I indicated, as I said, I said that the vice president's office, okay,
Uh-huh.
had even bought vehicles, this military guns, whatever, for these police people, okay, and
Yeah.
it is up to them, okay, to up their game so that they
So
can. I mean,
obviously, the vehicles and the vans are not working, right? Because you know the robberies are
no,
continuing to go on. So let me
no,
read a
it's
few comments and then
not.
we can switch this topic because I know we've passed 1 hour mark and we have two more things we want to discuss. Mr. Alexander Flo Noble says, great discussion. He's enjoying what we've been talking about and he loves it. He has another comment here. He's actually giving us a few comments and we are grateful. Alexander, please tell a friend to tell a friend. The Ghana agenda is on and we are discussing, like you've said in your own words, some very interesting topics here. Alexander again is saying that nobody is saying nothing is done for the security services. So that goes to you, John. He's saying that nobody's saying nothing is done to the security officers. Of course, we know cars are being bought, guns were being bought, but it's not solving the problem. The guns that have been allocated, like Paul said, are the AK-47s, and if you're in a taxi and you are getting ready, you are being attacked. Yeah, I don't know how you quickly, reposition yourself with an AK-7 and aim at your
But
attacker. So
Mr.
a,
Amudu,
a, a easier, a easier
situation.
weapon would have been yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, this issue of this CCTV cameras all around that the government is trying to
Right.
put in place, and
Yes.
it has something also to do with the national ID. I mean, but I don't want to talk about the national ID for now. But I want to look at the CCTV. Okay, these are all measures being taken to address security
To
issues
curb
in
it.
the country.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Great.
these are all
Great for
issues,
bringing
so
that
we
up.
can look at that. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr.
And
Musu,
then, Yeah,
Mr.
hold on,
Muzu,
hold on. Let me finish this quickly, and then of course Alexandra again says good afternoon to you, Mr. Alfred. Thanks for the greetings. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Alexandra, and then he says, Paul, good job, brother. So I'm
Mr.
sure
Muzu,
Alexandra,
yeah,
it's
quick one.
yeah.
My good friend John has come on this show this afternoon, not
Mm-hmm.
prepared. Number one. Number two, he has come to set his questions. He has come to set his questions to answer them. I never stated on this show that nothing has been done for the police service. I never stated on this show. So let's clear that. I never said that. Number three,
Okay.
I also want to put it on John that it's a fact. And Mr. Muzu, I think I'm going to challenge you that as the host, when we are going to discuss the topic, I want you to have the documents available. For him to come and sit here and tell us that it's just this super incompetent and insensitive government that has provided vehicles for the security service is a lie.
I don't think he's saying
they are the only. I don't think he's saying
they are the only.
I'm not sure
I think
what
he says they have, not to mean that the previous government have not done so.
That is so. I expect you to correct him that every government provide security equipment, security vehicles, provide security ammunition to every security organization when they are in charge. So he should.
All right. So
that is not something you should come and be boasting of. It is something that every government does. What I am telling him and I am putting to him this afternoon is that they have 6 security couples. Security in Ghana is deteriorating under their watch, under the insensitive president's watch. They should do something about it. They should address it. I am not going to play politics, or the NDC is not going to play politics.
That is basically what you're doing. That is basically what you're doing. Because you are trying to tell us that we should stop our before.
It's interesting when two politicians are on a show and say they are not going to play politics. Then what are we doing here, right? All right. So if you don't mind,
just run a quick one. My good friend John should not come and set his questions and be answering them.
He's definitely.
But I want you to address the issues then. But I want you to address the issues. Not to be talking about sensational issues. No, that is
okay. Let's avoid interruptions so that
and all that are not what it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's avoid
John, I'll let it go because today is your first time I'm meeting you, so I'll be soft on you today.
Okay, so this is a good segue into our next topic. But before I do so, Setmi Fetu again is saying you can buy all the security gadgets. If the system is not working, forget about it. The system is not working 24/7. I borrowed that from Tweet Jonas. Okay, so this is a good segue to our next topic, which is we've also witnessed recently that the presidency or the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had gone to acquire some vehicles for the police service. Now we were all expecting. I don't know about you, but I was expecting that. When the government decides to buy vehicles for any government institution, that we would procure from our own domestic manufacturer. We've never had, maybe under Kwame Nkrumah, there was one, I saw an assembly plant or so that was assembling some cars. But Katanka, in Ghana, is the only indigenous company that is actually manufacturing cars. I know VW has located a plant where they bring the parts and assemble in Ghana as well, and other companies are doing the same. But you would expect that we would try to encourage entrepreneurship within our own citizenry by buying from Katanka. But that was not the case. We actually went and acquired Toyota Corollas for our police services. This wasn't what I believe Akufo-Addo promised when he was campaigning. I thought he said would channel such procurements to the domestic industry instead of going to buy from foreign manufacturers. Are we going to continue to see this be the case? Why don't we support our own? And so let me ask you that first, John. Why is the government of Nana Addo Dankwa, your president, the president of the MPP, of the president of the country, But on the ticket of the MPP, based on the MPP's manifesto, that promise that, procurement of things such as vehicles will be channeled domestically. Why are we not seeing that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Muzu. But in the first place, he's not just my president, but
It's
you
all
and
our
Paul
president.
and
Yeah.
all of us are presidents. So, Paul,
Yes.
Nana Akufo-Addo, Addo Dankwa is your president as well. Okay,
Yep.
Mr. Amuzu, he
We
is
agree.
your president as well. Yes,
He said
so
president selected for Ghana, not elected. Selected for Ghana. Point of correction.
All right. Okay, you made your point. Let's go on.
yeah, so yes, with the issues of the cars, yes, there are so many questions to them, and to correct in part your questions, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is that we should be asking what the government so far has done for Kantanka. Okay,
Right.
we should be asking before we can even move on to whether it is
All right,
fair for the government to go.
you being someone who has an experience in the trade and industry ministry, you can tell us what has the government so far done to Katanka that
Yes,
precludes the
yes,
government from or buying
yes,
vehicles from them. I mean,
yes.
yeah,
I mean, it's not everything that I will sit on radio and say. Okay,
okay.
it's not
Tell us what you
everything,
know.
even from yes, from the government's point of view. I mean, or as being a former civil servant, it's not
Right.
everything that I want to put on radio. But then you are looking at one, the capacity of Kantanka. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
two, you are looking at what the government has done for them. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know I can sit here and tell you that Kantanka has benefited enormously from the government, even not just this government.
Right.
Okay, with stimulus package. Okay, and even at a point in time,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who want to be 100% owners of, let's say, a
But
thousand
how
dollar.
does giving okay, how does so you give let's say Katanka receives stimulus package from the government, but the government wants to go and buy cars. What Katanka deals is in cars, not in stimulus packages. Why wouldn't the government buy cars from Katanka? The fact that you
You are
give them
perfectly,
stimulus package,
you are perfectly right.
does that
Aside the fact that
Mhm.
even the CEO of Kantanka admits that the government has purchased about 500 cars from them. Okay, whilst
Mhm.
even Ministry of Trade, before I left, we had one sitting there. Okay, one that was being used by the then chief director. We have
Right.
finance ministry using it. Okay, we have
Okay.
finance ministry also having some of the cars. So it isn't like nothing at all is being happening, or nobody is buying his cars. Okay, but when a government wants to buy, let's say 1,000 vehicles, okay,
Mhm.
then you ask yourself, the government needs the vehicles within 6 months. Okay,
Mhm.
is Kantanka able to produce the cars within the 6 months? Okay,
Well,
I know we have
okay.
to build the capacity of Kantanka, but we cannot also
But
relent
are you
on
also
the
saying
fact that
Katanka is not able to build one car within 6 months? Even if it is that one car that they're
I
able
haven't
to
said
build
one.
in 6 months that you got from them.
I just told you that
Mhm.
even the Ministry of Trade and Industry before I left had a car from Kantanka. So we can't say they are not building the cars. They are definitely building the
Okay.
cars. Okay. But
Right.
all the government institutions cannot buy from them probably because they may not have the capacity to do so. So those that they can provide, those that
Okay.
I don't know if you are getting my point. Government is definitely buying
I'm
from
I'm
them.
finding
So
it
I'm
hard
telling
to
you that
follow that. Yeah, I'm finding it hard to follow that.
what I am saying,
You know.
what I'm telling you is that what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying is that okay, even the CEO, okay, of Kantanka
Okay.
Group had
Hmm.
indicated, which is online, you can Google it and see it, that government
Hmm.
in 2019 purchased about 500 vehicles from them.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't tell us, or it doesn't tell anybody that government is not buying anything from them.
Right.
Do you
But
get my point now?
but
But
here's the case: the
going
government
forward,
just gave 300 Toyota cars to the police service, and I'm thinking, I mean, what stops them from buying it from Katanka? I mean,
do they
unless
have
if
them readily
Kataka doesn't,
available?
if
Do
Kataka
they
doesn't
have
have
them
the
readily?
300, if they don't have the
Mhm,
300 available, how many do they have available? Buy all the ones they have available. That's what we are saying.
mhm,
And then if you need
mhm.
to top it up, you go to the foreigners. But you don't come and give us 300
No,
Toyotas with no
you are
zero
perfectly
Katanka.
no. You cannot say government is not buying from Kantanka
But what I'm saying
let's
is, government
mhm,
wants to give cars to the police, right?
mhm,
And they brought 300 Toyota Corollas.
Right.
And I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
even if they had gone to Katanka and Katanka say, I don't have all 300, get whatever Katanka has, okay? And then top it up with whatever you can find in the foreign markets. But don't bring us all 300 Toyotas and come and tell us Katanka doesn't have the capacity. I mean, Katanka, I'm sure, has capacity to deliver a certain number. Mix it up so we know that you are pursuing, you are buying from the fact that you bought 500
Of course, that is
doesn't mean
basically
that's
what
it.
I'm telling you.
Keep,
When did the
keep
government buy the
buying.
300
In
vehicles?
the United States where we stay.
When did the government buy the 300 cars for the police? When was that?
It was like was it last month or so? They gave 300 Toyota Corollas to the
Did you say last month?
police service. Yeah.
Well, that is fine. But what I'm saying, what I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
is that, or what I'm telling our listeners is that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
government keeps buying from Kantanka. Okay, that
Right.
is why I'm able to tell you that even the CEO of Kantanka admitted
Mm-hmm.
of government buying 500 vehicles.
Right.
Okay, and I also know
Mm-hmm.
for a fact that and these vehicles were for government agencies. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so government is doing the bit to support Kantanka to go. Okay,
Right.
but we should also look at, I mean, just like Zoom Lion. You know, Zoom Lion has strategic investors, people who come in from outside or inside and then they support him, right? So
Right.
basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's not all about government. We should look at getting resources from elsewhere to support our local entrepreneurs. Okay, but we should also consider how open those entrepreneurs are
Yeah,
to
but
invest.
it's more,
Okay,
I mean, Zoom Lion is a private entity and they can choose to do whatever they want to do with
of
their
course,
money, which is fine.
Same way as
Uh,
Kantanka, right? Kantanka is
right.
also a private entity, right? So if a
Right.
private entity opens themselves up, okay, then you can have more
Okay.
investors coming in, and then the business grows, and then everybody
Okay,
becomes okay.
let me bring Paul in real quick because he's indicating that he may be dropping off. Paul, what is your take on this? And this kind of cross governments, right? I know Kataka was there
Yeah.
when the NDC was in government as well, but it seems that we actually, take, we take the extra efforts to go and acquire things that are being manufactured in Ghana from overseas and bring them to our country using the taxpayers' money. Is it
Well,
about time we have this local content law to say that you first of all have to source from the domestic market, and if you can find it, then you can go to the overseas or you can go to the foreign manufacturer, because you don't want to have a car company that is struggling to find AFITs in the market while you still go out there and be purchasing, vehicles from overseas.
Well,
When are we going to help grow our own industry?
well, I mean, you've said it. I mean, look, I mean, I will be one person who's going to support, irrespective of which power or government in power. We should
Right.
all support to make or build our own. So if Kantanka is able to manufacture cars which meet international standards per the standard board or standard authority, then I think there should be a law that should be passed to say that before you purchase any car, you have to look internal first. If you don't get it before you go out. So I totally agree with that. Number two, I also want to state over here that the only way we can grow our economy and grow businesses is to buy made in Ghana, use in Ghana, wear in Ghana, eat in Ghana. So I will encourage that at this time, let government, irrespective of which government is in power, support the local manufacturer to grow.
Right.
This is the short, comment I have.
Okay, Paul, I don't know if you are able to make some comments on the $1 billion Euro bond as well before you check out. And I'm going to try to open the phone lines right after that as well.
Well,
Uh,
I'm going to say this and maybe I'll stay on to this thing one or two quick for if I need to respond and I'll drop off quick. Look,
okay.
with the $1 billion dollar loan that they are going for, my understanding is that, and if it's not, correct me, my understanding is that they are going for this thing to support infrastructure such as the free SHS. Is that the case?
Yeah, just strictly free SHS. Yes, it's a social bond.
You see, this government once again has shown how inept, how insincere they are. You remember when this free SHS issue came, a question was put to Nanado, the insensitive president, on BBC, that how is he going to source or how is he going to get the funding for this project? He said he will go and tell Ghanaians first. As we speak, he's not be able to tell we the Ghanaians where the funding is coming from. They started taking money from the oil revenue. Now they've seen that they cannot sustain or they cannot continue to take money from the oil revenue, so they are going to seek $1 billion to sustain the free SHS.
And the concern is that all this is going to, continue to add to our debt.
We are talking about infrastructure, and we are also talking about sustenance of free SHS.
Yeah, hold on. So, somewhere in January, of course, we know the Minister of Finance came and told us that the country is going to be raising $5 billion in Eurobonds. We know we've already gone to the market to take $3 billion, of which different interest rates. I think the first $525 million was zero coupon, etc., which was something we kind of debated on this program. And that loan, we were told, was going to be used to refinance, all sorts of domestic loans that we've already accumulated, which were averaging at about 19% interest rate. Of course, the average interest rate we got then was around 8.5. And so, it makes sense for you to swap 8.5 interest rate with a 19% interest rate. So, we thought that was a great idea. As part of, that $5 billion, the government says we are now taking $1 billion. So, of course, that would mean so far we had, we will be $4 billion by the end of July, right? All this, the concern is adding to our debts. And it's going to make it very unsustainable.
It's the fact that they are borrowing this $1 billion to support free SHS.
Right.
Nobody is saying free SHS is not good, but there is a saying that the piglet asked its mother, why is your mouth too big? And the mother told the piglet that, wait, when you grow, you say it. Now, the MPP was in opposition, was a piglet. Right. They were making a whole lot of noise. We told them that you cannot just start with such a big social intervention without having the source of funding. Anyway, let also be on record that the Deputy Minister for Finance, Ablandapa, is on record doing her vetting a week ago, saying that the government has no choice to go and borrow money to support the free SHS. We told them, they have to do it. Free SHS has come to stay. Instead of them looking and working and strategizing means of making money from the local economy, they are not going to borrow money. That's up to them. That's the way they want to go about it. It's up to them. Number two, Mr. Mus, let's put it on record that the budget estimate for 2020-2021 was 72 billion Ghana cedi. But as we speak, the new figure that is coming out is that before we end 2021, we'll be borrowing we'll borrow extra 5 million in addition to 72 billion. So at the end of the fiscal year, instead of 72 billion, that was the budget estimate, we'll be shooting around 78 billion. Okay. This should tell you how super incompetent these people are. We have the men. This is the men.
All right.
This is the mess they are doing to the economy of Ghana.
All right. Great commentary on that. So, John, we
allowed him to go off with this allegation of borrowing extra 5 million or something.
He's on. So he's here. So go ahead and respond.
What you think we will be doing tomorrow when we have only today? Okay.
Right.
Yes. I think it's a very smart way of handling issues in our country, especially. Look, there is no developed country in this world that did not start with education.
Right.
Okay. I've had a chance to. Asia is my thing. I did my master's in Asia. Okay. And I've been to some of the countries in Asia. Even Japan, when they started after the Second World War, what they came together is that, hey, let us educate our people. Okay, let us educate our people with all the resources that we have. With whatever we have, let us use it to educate them. And today, when we are talking about, Japan used to be the second largest or biggest economy in the world, right? Look at South Korea, look at China. It's all boils down to education. You understand? So if Ghana has seen the light today, and it is even going to cost us. Okay, I mean, it's going to cost us even all our gold. Trust me, it is worth us educating our kids, because who
Right.
knows the value of a Facebook, a Zuckerberg. Okay,
Right.
do we compare that even to cocoa whatever annually? The amount of money that Zuckerberg is making even in a month. Can we
Right.
compare that to our cocoa? So assuming we get just one Zuckerberg from whatever we are spending today. Okay, so let us not just think about today and think about we are borrowing whatever we are doing. This, the best thing that could happen to anybody in this world is education. Let me tell you,
Right.
education cuts across almost everywhere. Trust me,
Okay.
if you're a little educated and you know your surroundings, I mean, you know how to keep your surroundings. You even fall sick for you to go to the hospital for somebody to collect money from you.
Okay.
You
Okay.
get it? If you're a bit educated, okay, and you know your surroundings, there are basic things you will not even do in life because
Right.
you know how to keep yourself. Okay, so
Right. So you,
education by far is the best thing that should happen to us. And whether we are borrowing 10 billion, 100 billion, whatever, I, as a person, would
right.
support that initiative. Thank you very
So
much.
let me ask though. So is this
Yes.
something that is just coming to the knowledge of the MPP, or this is something that they've already known before going into launching the free SHS? Because I
Government.
think some well-meaning Ghanaians sounded alarm that this program, free SHS, is not going to be sustainable on the government's budget. So is this something that is just now coming to them that, of course, we are not going to be able to sustain free SHS?
Yes,
We have to find.
yes, yes. Thank you very much for this question. Mr. Amuzu, there is no
Mhm.
government anywhere in the world, probably
Right,
except America. Even America, you realize just recently they had to borrow 3 trillion, right?
right. Mhm.
3 trillion to, I mean, yes. So what happens actually is that government comes, okay, they raise revenue, and then they use the revenue to service whatever. Okay, so
Right.
you have your policies, programs, projects, and activities. Okay, then you raise
Mhm.
revenues. Those that you cannot raise internally, you source
Mhm.
funding from elsewhere. Okay, and
Right.
raising bonds or going for loans elsewhere is part of way of raising revenue
I think the question is whether
to
this knowledge just came to the MPP
it,
that
it, it, it's not
free
just
SHS is not
about
sustainable.
it is sustainable. It is not just
I
about
mean,
it
it's
coming
not
to them
sustainable
now.
being free. Like the government has to find other ways to fund it. It can't be done on the budget. You can't just. I mean,
A government
yeah,
draws a budget. Okay, the budget is drawn not with the fact that they have the money sitting there. That is one point I
right,
want us to understand. Okay,
right.
a government draws a budget that, hey, this I'm able to raise 10 trillion Ghana cedis. Okay,
Mhm.
and out of this 10 trillion, these are the activities or programs whatever that I would want to embark on. Okay,
Right. I
so
mean, they were
as
doing
part
it out
of
of the
as part of
ABF. They were doing it out of the annual budget allocations that comes from the Petroleum Fund, the ABFA. But again, even that looks unsustainable. So, yeah. So you were making your point that the government, comes, looks at the revenue envelope and decides whether to supplement that by loans, etc., etc. I
yes,
am
sir.
only glad. I am only glad that for once, a loan that is being taken on behalf of the country will go directly to
Mm.
support the average person or
Of course,
the
that is
students, and
perfect.
not and we hope, it is our hope that when the funds arrive, that they go directly to serve the purpose for which they were being taken. There have been so many times that in this
But
country
Samusi, you've
we've
seen the
gotten loans
infrastructure
for,
development happening almost everywhere, right? Almost
well,
everywhere in Africa.
infrastructure will be something that I'm sure Paul will be very interested in having that conversation. But of course, we don't want to talk about that. So basically, I've opened the phone lines. If you want to call and contribute to the show, the phone line is 757-553-2440. Just dial it and I'll connect you so you can ask your question of our guest today. Mr. Mifetu, John, I will let you come back in and finish your point. I'm just reading this quickly. John again says, Mr. John, please stop setting questions for yourself. You were asked why the government didn't buy the police cars from Katanka. Then you change the questions to what the government have done for Katanka. And in an attempt to answer your own question, you end up telling us about packages that can mean anything. We are interested in what is in the package. So I'll let you answer that, but let me read this as well. Joe Mattenbrick says that, good job. Are you a poor country or fairly well-to-do? We are poor. We just actually emerged out of highly indebted poor nations. And it looks like we are working so hard to get back in there. So I think John is not is new to the program, but thanks for watching, Joe. We really appreciate those comments. Seth Mifetu again is saying, in every serious government, the government is the first buyer of made in the country goods, and that is 100% true. NDC and MPP are all the same. When NDC was in power, they bought seats for the parliament of Ghana from China, while we have carpenters in the country, most of them from Volta region as well. Bringing NDC and MPP activists to talk on national issue is just a waste of time. I respect your guests, but they are all speaking from the comfort of their party. I cannot agree more. But of course, we have to bring them in to kind of share their ideas of how they would, run our country going forward. Should NDC become lucky to win the next election, what are they going to do different? And the current government, what are they doing different? They want to break the 8. If they did, should they be lucky enough to break the 8? What difference would they do? So it's important we bring them to tell us that and more. Seth again says, Mr. John, your take on education is not selling your government on a good note. You support any amount the government borrows in the name of education. But the question is, what is the quality of education that your government is providing? So I think those are very good questions, and we are grateful to Mr. Seth Mifetu for asking them. I should bring you in as a co-host one of these days. But anyway, please take your time and answer those questions that Paul is throwing at you. Paul is saying that you are borrowing, to support the education, but the quality of education you are, offering, it's not the best. And then he also says that, of course, you are setting your own questions and answering them. That you should concentrate on.
Yes. So I'll talk about the quality of education first. In the first place, we ask ourselves questions as to what constitutes the quality of an education or of education.
Right.
Okay, what constitutes that? If we're able to answer that, then probably we are halfway through this concerns. It's not about just being it free or not being free or some staying at home. It's what makes the quality the best. You understand?
Right.
I remember when I was in high school, secondary school those days. Okay, I mean we have this first and last ten. Okay, and there was this one guy who is now a PhD. Okay, Isaac Kampa. I would want to mention his name, Dr. Isaac Kampa. He had first class in UCC, went on to do his masters in UCC after his TA-ship, and then he went to Hungary to do his PhD, and now he's back in Ghana. This guy was never part of the first 10. Okay, he was an average student. Okay, but as time went on, this guy picked up, and trust me, most of us could not even stand him before we completed school. Okay, we have slow learners. So somebody probably may be a slow learner. You might think that person should not go to school, should stay here because the person what was your good? Okay, and then I'm sharing quality thing that people are talking about. Okay, I was the last but one worst grade in the class. I had 13, and somebody had mentioned 14. JSS, I'm telling you on this show. Okay, I had 13 and somebody had 14. The rest had 6, 6, 7, 6, 7. But when the first semester ended, I was 4th. Do you get it? And then we went on, and then it became history. Okay, so what is the quality of an education system? Is it just about people staying at home and those who are 6 months going to school? Is that what we want to we want to understand by the quality? The government of the day is providing the necessary infrastructure.
I mean, the quality of education necessarily doesn't, mean the grade you get, right? Because if your education system requires you to study history, math, and English and go and take an exam, we're talking about, are we getting that skill as the skill sets, the science-based education, the STEMs, the education that is necessary to support the future, the fourth industrial revolution. Are we able to provide those skills so that our children can compete on the international market or to compete with other kids from other countries? Yeah, so I'm sure that's what you meant by quality education. Yeah.
Yes, so that is what I was coming to.
But you were talking about grades, which
No, I wasn't the grade because I was thinking that perhaps this is how people think. Because if you listen to the argument all over the years, okay, people are saying, "Oh, wait, Sebi, when mama bomb, they don't know anything. So why are you making everybody go into the system?" Right. You understand? That is the argument you hear. Oh, some do not even pass, and you're allowing them in the system. That is the argument out there. Okay, they are not even talking about science, technology, and all that. But you and I could attest to the fact that this government is building about 10 of them. Okay, this same thing that we are talking about. Okay, so that they can groom our kids. Okay, with this science technology, because I know for a fact that before any developing or least developed country can catch up with the developed world, they must go with IT. They need artificial intelligence. They need what was the name? Internet of Things, because that is what is ruling the world now, right? And this government is seriously working on that. Yes.
All right. So let me do this. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll see if somebody or any of the viewers would like to call in and ask questions of all the things we discussed today.
There was this for something that you said about Ghana. I want to put on record. Okay, Ghana is a low middle income economy, and we cannot be said to be a poor country. Okay, we cannot be said. There are
all right, so that is what Joe
Yeah.
Right. So you are answering the question that Joe Mettenberg asked. He's asking if Ghana was a poor country. I mean, he's not. How do we put it? We are middle income. Doesn't mean we are not poor, right? So.
And there was this question also about the package. There was this question about package to Kantanke and all that, right?
Right.
If I could address it, yes.
Yeah, if you want to hold on to that, let's take the quick break. When we come back, you address that and we get the line opens to see if others will be interested in joining on the show. We're doing great so far. I love all the contributions. But let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, You're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Welcome back to the show. Today we've been talking about some very interesting issues. We started by going over some of the answers provided by the Minister of Defense with regards to the president's charter flight to Europe in May. And then we switched to the insecurity situations we are facing in the country currently, where there's so many armed robberies occurring, including one recently where we saw a police officer dying as a result. And then we also talked about the fact that as a government decides to procure vehicles, that they should look to the domestic manufacturers, and in this case, Katanka, so that where Katanka can provide, then we fill that gap with foreigners. But what we currently do is not sustainable. It's not supporting our domestic manufacturers enough, where we go and procure Toyota Corolla for even our police services and etc. etc. So we want people listening who are government workers or sympathetic to the government to take the word out there that we are on the Ghana agenda. We are asking for the government to somehow, if possible, introduce a Buy Ghana First sort of program, so that the government entities will look to buying first from within Ghana before they step outside the country to procure things that our tax dollars will be used for. So right now we are actually talking to loans that the government intends to raise, or bonds that the government intends to actually sell in the market, and the proceeds from which the government wants to use to support the free SHS program. And John Addo is here helping digest all that. Okay, let me take our first call for the day. Mr. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? Oh, great, great. Let me ask, John, can you hear Steve as he speaks? No, you can't hear him. Huh. I'm hoping, and if anybody can hear you, but Steve, go ahead with your contribution. I can hear you clearly. Yep. We are happy to have you. Welcome back. By the way, Steve and I host a show called Steve and Afro Show. It's usually on Monday. Steve, let me ask, are we coming on tomorrow, or sorry to put you on the spot on air? I hear you. I figured that much. Well, welcome back, and thanks for joining the show. What is your question for my guest? Right. 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 Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
cannot hear anything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. To do so. Yeah, Paul. I said Paul. Steve, I'm getting feedback from Paul, and I think my other guests that they cannot hear you. So I think there is something that perhaps I need to still look at this mixer very well just to make sure that it works for the purpose. But thanks for your contribution. I'm going to convey your contribution to them, and then you and I would even definitely need to work on this to make sure we can bring people on to talk. So thanks for the contribution, by the way, Steve. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right. So Steve was saying that he just came from Ghana, and he's witnessing that, we have companies, domestic companies, like Jata Cement, of course, the car one that we have been discussing, etc., etc. But he's realizing that, people are continuing to build big houses. They're driving foreign cars. We are becoming consuming. We are, deepening our consuming habits. We are a consuming society. We are a society that is not producing enough of our own or patronizing enough of our own. He's saying that even there are contracts with other companies to buy cement from Jata Cement, which is a local cement company that was just opened by the brother of John Dramani Mahama. So he's saying that there are contracts to buy those cements and build a factory or a cold store which would be storing chicken that will be brought from abroad when we have our own poultry farms in Ghana and we are not patronizing that. So all this is not going to be things that will help us as a country to develop, So that's essentially what Steve said. And so we are grateful for his contribution. John, I don't know if you want to take a bite at that first, but Paul, if you're listening as well, Paul, Steve has raised some very interesting, issues here. Do you want to take a bite at that first before I bring in John?
Yeah, I didn't know what he said until you told me what he said. I wish I could have listened to what he said.
So basically what I did is I thought I'd be able to set this thing well, but we'll test it out again. I'm definitely interested in bringing guests on to contribute to that program. So I do have the mixer. We are testing it. We'll get that running one of these days. So sorry that you couldn't hear him, but I've essentially summarized everything he said. So if you can,
if you can take it again. Sorry, I missed it. If you can take it again, please.
Okay, so he's just saying that he just came from Ghana. He saw that a lot of people are continuing to bring in foreign cars. They're building big houses. Even there is a contract between, I think, Kennedy Japan and the Jata Cement, where Kennedy, of course, would be. He didn't mention Kennedy, but I suspect that was what he was saying, where Kennedy would be building a cold store, importing chicken from overseas to put in that cold store and selling in Ghana. Well, of course, we have a poultry industry in Ghana, and we are not patronizing that enough. So he's saying with all this that it is hard for a country to grow when we are, just net consumers. We consume foreign goods so much. So I wanted to see if you can take a bite at that.
I think I've made that submission earlier on, saying that it's not only this NPP government. All government are at fault.
Culpable.
Mm-hmm. Let's try to encourage our own. Let's buy our own. Let's wear our own. Let's eat our own. That's the way to go to build our economy. Because when we do that, we're going to create a lot of job for our brothers and sisters who are loitering around aimlessly. So I will urge the upcoming NDC government in 2024 to try as much as possible to, let's focus on made in Ghana. Let's focus
Right.
on buy in Ghana, eat in Ghana, get in Ghana, wear in Ghana. I mean, let's focus on our local industry. Let's support them to build them, to make them stronger. Upon this note, I think I'll drop off now because my visitor is here. I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and just to say that my good brother John just came to set questions for himself and answer the questions for himself. He never answered one of or any of the questions you put to him. And I'm going to use this medium to tell him if he can convey this message to his party.
Right.
The president is being too insensitive. Renting aircraft for 15,000 an hour is unacceptable.
You are just being sensational. That's all that you're doing.
That money,
that's fine in a way.
John, can you allow me to make my closing statement? That money can be used to do something. That money can be used to purchase beds in our hospitals. That money can be used to purchase, furnitures for John's nephews and nieces back home in his village who are sitting on the bare floor learning. And to end it, I want to say once again that this super incompetent president, insensitive and shameful president will be kicked out of power in the next 4 years. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity. And my good friend Ifa ran away from me for this show today. He knew he will not be able to answer the president jet rental. He knew he will not be able to answer the insecurity issues in Ghana. He knew he will not be able to talk about the $1 billion loan that they've gone to take to support free SHS. All these things we told them. My mother told me when I was growing up that when a pig let us the pig, why is your mouth big? The pig told the piglet, wait.
But how many times would you want to say this?
So I am telling the NPP people, they lied and they were saying all sorts of things when they were in opposition. They are now meeting it, they are facing the reality. John, next time, get better, get prepared, and let's debate. Thank you and enjoy your day, John. And tell your wife, tell your wife to give you a good food to eat because you were setting your own questions and answer your own questions. Thank you.
All right, Paul, thanks for joining the show today and all the good contributions you gave us. We really appreciate it. But that's Paul for you, John. That's the experience you're gonna have with Paul.
He's deeply rooted in the NDC, and then sensationalism and propaganda is their mainstay. It's their main staple food. So I can forgive him on that. But the main issue is that I agree with you. Working with the ministry, I met this policy which was started even by Kufo. We had it Friday wear, but the policy in itself was everyday wear. Okay, where on Fridays, you could wear anything African to work. Okay, but that was the catchphrase. Friday wear, so that when it catches, the Qatar catches everywhere, then we could have it everyday wear. Okay, so now you could realize even the president wears what's the name, this GTP print almost all the time, and then with the ministries they put on this, what do you have, Captain or whatever, even on Mondays to work. So we are gradually doing away with the coats, tie,
the coat and tire. Our weather is too hot for. I don't even know how we manage that. Because I saw it a lot when I wear coats in Ghana. It's trouble.
It's kind of serious. But the main thing that I'm trying to say is that all these things are processes. Okay, you cannot develop taste, or people cannot just develop taste for our local things overnight. Okay, so it is about the education, and the education. It's more of the education, and then producing what suits them. Okay, so they develop the taste for all those things. Okay, so yes, government is doing all that. I know government is supporting, and that is how we do it. Government is supporting the private sector of the country to produce quality products which the Ghanaian would love to buy. Okay, the Ghanaian is not willing to buy something Ghanaian because I'm a Ghanaian. Okay, but the Ghanaian is buying something because the thing is also of a good quality. Okay, because because of international trade, anything comes into the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for somebody to see something of a good quality, which probably is even less expensive than the Ghanaian manufactured one, definitely you and myself will go for whatever that is imported, right? So yes,
Right.
government, we all supporting that cost of production, cost of manufacturing, and all those things as the government is doing comes down. Okay,
Right.
creating the
Mm-hmm.
enabling environment for them, which the government is doing. Okay, so that cost of production, all those things come down, and then there again, you could see that the Ghanaian product will be cost effective. Okay, so
Yeah,
the
but
Ghanaian
all we are saying
product,
is that when the government is going to use, the Ghanaian taxpayers' money to procure anything, they should
it
first
should
look
be of Ghanaian
domestically.
origin, right?
Yeah, first rights to be given to the Ghanaians. See if that thing is offered in the market. If it is not, then you go out. So if you buy something that is offered in the market, but you bought it from foreign, you are operating against the law. That would be helpful.
Well, we have local content. I mean, where
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
just by
even
saying
in the
local content.
contract,
It
they
has
are
to be a
selling
law.
package.
It has to be, I don't know, maybe it exists. I just don't know.
It is.
It
It
has to be
is.
a
It is.
requirement that, you have to first look in the domestic market. And you cannot procure anything without checking that mark that I first searched domestically and I can't find it. And then you can go out. The US government does that a lot because I know, especially if you are operating within the military enterprise, certain things you have to check within the government to see do you have any government institution providing the same services or manufacturing those products? If you can't find it within the government setup, then
Sorry,
you can
Amuzu,
contract it
your
outside.
line keeps dropping. Your line keeps dropping, so it's been
Okay,
difficult hearing you.
okay, go ahead. So at this point, can you hear me now? Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, at this point, finish your point and wrap it up with your final thoughts for the day, and then we'll bring the program to an end.
Yes, I want to address the question that one listener raised about the
Yeah,
package
Steve.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said package because that is what it is.
Mhm.
There is a stimulus package to give
Right.
incentives to the private sector or entrepreneurs. Okay, based on the proposal that you present to the ministry. Okay, so John brings a proposal that okay, I am Kantanka, I manufacture cars, and I need to, equip myself on how to mold my ties and all that. So government says, okay, how much do you need as part of your proposal? It's indicated in there that I need $2 million. So government gives you a stimulus package of 2 million to go and learn how to mold your tie and all that. So I'm not just talking about package, but the money, it's that's the name, the nature of it. So it's a stimulus package which goes to help them to do their various activities that they have planned or indicated in their proposal. So that is just by the listeners should get that right. And then I would say that, all being so good, look, we have how many countries in the world? The world went on recession, okay, with this pandemic, with this COVID pandemic, okay. Out of the many countries, over 100 and something countries and above countries, okay, it was only 30 countries that reported positive growth in 2020. It was only 30 countries that reported positive growth. How small Ghana reported, or the decline in our GDP or our growth, okay, it was far better than many countries that reported negative growth. It was far better than many countries that reported negative growth. Talk about America, what was the European countries, other African countries, other Asian countries, and all that. So, yes, just like when you are even first in class, they tell you there's more room for improvement. Yes, we all praying that more is done for the country, but the
Right.
country is not doing that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Security wise, yes, there are spots of robbery, attacks, and all that, but government is on top of issues. Just
Right.
like one police officer said, yes, they can run, but how far can they hide?
Or how
Right.
far can they go and hide? You can't
Right.
hide. Definitely, yes, you'll be fished out. So let us just exercise some restraint for the NPP government, because it's the only government, trust me, believe me, it's the only government that can remedy our situations. Okay, look, I was trying to,
All right.
honestly, I was
Never say
trying to
never,
talk
right?
about I was trying to talk about the national ID. The national ID alone can
Mhm.
solve about 95% of the country's problems.
Right.
The national ID alone, when it is
Mhm.
linked to the bank account, it is linked to criminal records, it is linked to health and all that, it can solve about 95%
Yeah, it
of
is. It
our
has been the
problems.
agenda of the government for how long? This is the
No,
fifth
no,
year of
but
the government.
you
So
and I can tell. You and I can tell.
yeah, but
As
I'm
I sit here,
saying,
I
I mean, how
have
long is
mine.
it gonna take to just do one ID and link into
No, but
whatever
the
you want to
ID is
link it
done.
to?
That
It's
is what
5 years
the ID
in
is
the
done.
administration, you know.
No, the
So when
ID
you're back
is
talking
done.
about,
The ID
okay,
is done, right? The
all right,
integration is what is happening now. The ID
and
is
that is
done.
gonna
As
take
I
how many
sit here,
years?
sorry.
How many years would the integration take?
Oh, the integration has already started. Even 28, your Senate number
How
is going
many
to be your.
years would it take? Just simple question.
How
Would it
many
be done
years
by the
has
end
it?
of the year?
Oh, of course. Pretty
Okay.
sure. It's because even 28, your Senate number, your ID will be your Senate number.
Right,
You see
right.
it.
Okay.
So gradually it's phasing out ghost names and all that, because if you die with your ID. You understand?
All right.
Yeah, so
Hopefully nobody dies.
and all
But
that. So
anyway, we run out of time, but give us your last words. I know this is your first time being. We're hoping that you would come back on this show. You've been really great. I enjoyed everything you said so far. Give us your wrap up of everything we discussed today, and we will bring today's to an end.
yeah, I think it's been great having me, and I've enjoyed myself as well. Just that Paul was being sensational and I mean propagandist. So I'm sure probably he's listening to me. But by
Right,
and large, all that I would
right.
tell listeners is that
Uh-huh.
they should exercise restraint for this government.
Right.
They should exercise restraint, because Ghana was one of the fastest growing economies in 2019. And in
Mm-hmm.
2020, we were bedeviled with this COVID pandemic, okay, which shuttered almost everything down. They should
Right.
exercise restraint for this government. The best
Mm-hmm.
is yet to come. And very
Mm-hmm.
soon, the America, the Japans, the UKs that we see, we are going to see same in Ghana. So
All right.
that's my closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Great, great, great. I like the positive energy. We're going to see America and Japan and Ghana pretty shortly. If we retain it, I'm sure your administration, right? So that has been John. John has been very good with us. Great contributions. Even though Paul is accusing him of setting his own questions and answering them, but I think Paul, John, that you did very well, considering this is the first time you are on this show, and with not knowing the expectations and your counterparts and etc. I think you held yourself right, and I'm grateful for your granting us your time and all the good contributions. We really, really, really appreciate it. I know the listeners and viewers are so grateful for all the contributions you gave us today. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. On that note, we would bring this show to an end. But before we do so, I just want to say that, it is tough to kind of understand why we would spend so much money renting a plane. Of course, when our hospitals still need, something as simple as bed for our pregnant women. Some of them with their newborn babies are on the floor, etc., etc. As a country, it's shameful. It's shameful that we still have those situations when we have all kinds of resources, gold, diamond, name it. You name a resource in this under the planet, we have it. Recently we have been talking about our lithium deposits in the Volta region, and that is becoming important because now that the entire world is refocusing or re-engineering how cars are made to where they want to shift from dependence on fossil fuel to now electric cars, that lithium is becoming the hottest commodity. And we have that in Ghana as well. So with all the things we have, it is stuff that our country is in the state in which it is. I'm also pleased that we're able to talk about the issue of buying internally. There are companies that have started in Ghana and are doing well. We should support them by buying from them. We as citizens should also buy from them. But essentially, our government, when it comes time for them to spend our government's or taxpayers' money to procure anything on our behalf, that it should be done from our domestic companies first. And if they can't find the things we need domestically, then we go outside. It shouldn't even matter what the price is, right? Just in the name of competing, or helping our domestic industry or factories or companies grow. Of course, we hope that those prices that we'll be getting from our domestic factories are reasonable. So let me take that back. Not at any price, right? But at a reasonable price, of course, so that we can get value for our money. But also the issue of insecurity, on this program, we are asking that, somehow, maybe if there's a retraining that is necessary or retooling or whatever needs to be done, that is done so that the pace of robberies we are seeing these days are reduced, so that our police are more present on the streets. They are quick to go and destabilize demonstrations. When there's supposed to be a demonstration, they are quick to go and beat citizens. But when it comes time to actually stomping out things like robbery, hooliganism and things like that, we don't necessarily find them playing their role to the extent where even then themselves, the police, are falling victims to some of these things. And when you talk about this, to the extent that the IGP will, give you those arrogant comments that we, saw from him, it's really unfortunate. On that note, I would say we are in solidarity with our people in Mali, even though they've been banned from ECOWAS. I was hoping that the summit that currently or is wrapping up in Accra today, that Mali would be brought back into the fold, but that wasn't the case. In the meantime, the terrorist activities we are seeing in the Sahel is continuing to spill over into other countries. We are praying and hoping that Ghana does not see any such spillovers anytime soon. That is the Ghana agenda for today, which is the June 19th version. I wish all fathers watching this program happy Father's Day, and also happy Juneteenth, for which those in the federal government receive their holidays. I don't know if the private sector also do the same, but happy Father's Day. I hope all fathers get a better gift than the lousy ties or neckties that we continue to get all the time. Thank you, John, and thank you, Steve, for calling into the show. Thank you, Paul, for joining the show and all the contributions. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, if it is Saturday, 2 p.m., no, it's the Ghana Agenda. And the Ghana Agenda, it's a really great show where we talk about all kinds of things. Thank you. We'll be back next week.